So my name is pronounced Kambiz Naficy. I was born in Iran, and in the late 50s, I received a dosage of old Persian culture, you know, Hafiz, Rumi, and I was basically a quiet boy who could see layers underneath the superficial appearance. So to my parents' dismay, I would be taken to a wedding at the age of 5, and I would say, "Father, this bride is not in love with that groom." And they would be very upset with me, you know. I had that kind of, I could see layers underneath. Anyways, in 1962, my father was assigned a post in the Iranian embassy in Washington, D.C. during John F. Kennedy's time. So then I was suddenly catapulted to the West.
You were only 5, 6 years old.
I was 7. I went to Rock Creek Forest Elementary School in Chevy Chase, Maryland, without speaking any English, and then suddenly there was this Western culture coming at me. But I was young enough where I absorbed that equally well with the Persian culture. And then I went back to Iran for a while, and then back to the US for my undergraduate school, back to Iran, and then there was a revolution, and then I wound up being in New York. I received a master's from Columbia University and also an MBA from what used to be a branch of the Harvard Business School in Tehran. It was called the Iran Center for Management Studies. So then I was recruited by an international bank in New York, and after I purchased some Italian suits and I had an office overlooking the Statue of Liberty and the BMW and all of that, then one day I didn't recognize myself in the mirror because I wasn't a banker. So some of you may find yourself one day in what we call the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is that you'll reach very high success with your ego. You know, the ego being the impressive self can take you to some very impressive places. But my theory is that each of you, like Mahatma Gandhi, each of you has 3 selves. And you must make your way back to the original self. So the 3 selves are like this. You have a spontaneous, childlike, very in-touch child within you. And then somewhere from, let's say, the age of 9 to the age of 29, you develop a hurt self. The hurt self comes about because you go through an event and you come up with a wrong perception about that event. So, you know, in modern psychology, the much faster track to healing is not to heal the event. So if you lose your father at the age of 9, we don't redo the funeral to heal you. That's impossible. What we need to do is to have you come up with a more sane conclusion about the death of your father. If you conclude that God hates you because you lost your father, then it'll take years on the therapist's couch. But if you can modify that perception about the father's death, the healing is a lot faster. So then you have an innocent self, a hurt self, and then you have an impressive self. So you become an ambassador with a black Mercedes-Benz. And you're very impressive. So now you have 3 selves. You have a little child who was very in tune with himself or herself. You have a hurt self, and then you're now an ambassador, so there's an impressive self. Now you have to integrate these 3. So look at what happened to Mahatma Gandhi. He was a very shy, scared boy, scared of the dark, very funny to his mother. He used to make her laugh and laugh and laugh. And then we developed a hurt Mahatma Gandhi, extremely shy, very hurt, very unsure of himself. The first time he went into the court as a barrister, he ran out, literally. So that's a very hurt self. And then when he went to London, he bought a 3-piece suit and took foxtrot classes to become a fine British gentleman. So that was the impressive self. And then he made his way back to just the loin and weaving the cloth. So there's a person who went from the innocent self to the hurt self to the impressive self and then back to the original self.